This is the face and the proper attitude of a true Russian mobster. He's what they call a criminal authority, the Vory V Zakone, or in English, the Thieves-in-Law. For someone so camera shy, he's been caught on camera too many times in his life, and in death. The mob reporter here with the underworld story of Ando the Lame, an unlucky fellow who plays an unwitting role in recent changes to how the Russian government takes on its top gangsters. Andranik Harutyunyan, better known as Ando the Lame, had more misfortune than just his unflattering nickname. Back in 2016, he was spotted with some pals in a restaurant in Moscow, when he shouldn't have been in Russia at all. While this was something that normally might not have caused great commotion, Ando was seen there at a particularly awkward time, just as the Russian government was making plans to crack down on its underworld elite. What better way to announce a tough new stance against criminal bosses than to bag one in the capital city and send him on a perp walk? And if the Vor is true to his nature, meaning refusing to cooperate in the slightest, it will perfectly illustrate why a new weapon is needed to crack these particularly tough nuts. And so they picked Ando, and he played his role to perfection. This arrest was in March 2016. It was unveiled by Andranik Harutyunyan, the head of Moscow's Ministry of Internal Affairs, as he publicly declared war on the Vory V Zakone.
Нужно документировать воров в законе в рамках статьи 210, то есть преступное сообщество.
The chief warned of a new tactic to hit the top bosses of the Russian underworld, a powerful new law to hit at the top, the criminal authorities, meaning the Vor. The logic goes like this. Cops usually catch the grunts, the soldiers, the lower-level thugs and crooks who do the dirty work, while the bosses who give the orders sit back and maintain the appearance of innocence. The bosses don't like to get their hands dirty, and so it is rare to prove serious crimes against them. Oh, they may get found with a gun, just like Ando the Lame and his friends were, and they might get a couple of years in prison, where they are doted on by fellow inmates and often by guards who he bribes or threatens. Andranik Harutyunyan said enough is enough. Announcing a new strategy against the top mob bosses, he warned that a change to Russian law was making it a serious offense to just be a boss, even if there isn't evidence of participating in any specific crimes. It was called Article 210.1, and the punishment for occupying the highest position in the criminal hierarchy, as the law was worded, would be significant. 10, 15, 20 years in prison, or even life, he said. The new law, presented by Vladimir Putin, was quickly passed, and 1 month after the showy arrest of Ando the Lame, Article 210.1 became law. But this weapon was harder to handle than Harutyunyan thought. The first major test case was against an alleged Vor named Zachary Kalashov, also known as Zakro Molodoy. He was arrested in grand fashion at his huge and garishly decorated mansion, as seen here. That was in 2016, a few months after the new law was announced.
Вы являетесь вором в законе. Не буду перед камерой ничего говорить. Слышите, чего тут не разыгрывать?
But that case fell apart under strong legal challenge. In 2017, Russian authorities finally hit the mark. A man known as Mamuka Galsky was convicted for being a mob boss and sentenced to 17 years. The legal victory was hailed by police as creating precedents for other cases. But there seemed to be a lot of wrinkles still to be ironed out. Luckily for them, the new law gives police a lot of wiggle room. An alleged Vor can be arrested and held in prison without bail for 1.5 years, while police and prosecutors gather evidence to build their case. That logjam, however, suddenly appears to have broken. In the past couple of weeks, Article 210.1 cases have been chased with new vigor. One case has finally been scheduled for trial, a rarity. That accused Vory was arrested in Russia's Tomsk region last year. Here is video of the arrest. The Special Forces team looks a bit uncertain, to be honest. But I'm sure I would too if I was bursting into a Vory's home unannounced. But he offered no resistance. He stands accused of being the top underworld criminal authority in the region for at least the last 8 years. In recent days, there have been several other Vory arrested, sent to trial, or declared fugitives in Article 210.1 investigations. And in Moscow, a much bigger fish may soon follow. Rashad Ishmailov, currently serving a sentence in Belarus for arms trafficking, also now faces prosecution for occupying the highest position in the criminal hierarchy. He is accused of being the new underworld boss of Moscow itself. If true, then that would be a significant achievement, and a suitable milestone in the new law that Ando the Lame helped usher in. But why isn't it used against Ando himself, the man who was made the face of the new law? Well, he met an even grimmer fate, and the dreaded cameras were rolling then too. In 2018, 2 years after getting booted from Russia, Ando was arrested in Armenia. His arrest came a day after the homes of more than 36 other crime bosses in the region were raided and searched in a major sweep. He was held then on suspicion of drug trafficking after police found a rifle and ammunition in his home along with suspected narcotics. But he didn't remain in custody long, and when he was out but still in Armenia just last summer, he was shot. Ando was in a gazebo in the courtyard of a house in Armenia's capital, along with his friends. But when a gunman appeared, everyone scattered. The assassin, however, had eyes only for Ando. Ando didn't make it far. He was hit twice in the shoulder, once in the back, and once to the head. Police were called to the hospital, where someone took him after the shooting. Police arrived to find Ando's body. The Russian gunman arrived from Chechnya, and he had help from others. Ando was 45. A few months later, an Armenian-born world kickboxing champion was killed on the street in Moscow. Here he is visiting a Moscow martial arts club. He was famous among fighters. It is believed that this boxer, Eshat Bolyan, arranged to have Ando killed over a gambling debt owed by the boxer to the Vory. The boxing champ was shot dead in retaliation because the Vory still had friends. Thanks for watching.